I feel blessed. Thank you very much for coming here. I'm Julian, as said, and co-founder and CEO of Relay, the Europe's easiest Bitcoin app made in Switzerland. And we help people take control of their future because we believe that Bitcoin is the best savings technology ever invented, and we want to make it as easy as possible for people to get access to it. So today, I don't want to give you a pitch. This is not an advertising presentation. It's more a short and concise content and education presentation where I will tell you a little bit about these three very small words, BTC, DCA, FTW, which stands for Bitcoin dollar cost averaging for the win. So it's very easy to remember for some of you who might be newcomers to Bitcoin and you don't really know, look, I don't understand this, I want to get into it. I mean, a lot of my friends are getting into it. It seems to be the next big thing. It seems to be something that people start investing in, but I don't know how to do it. After this presentation, my goal would be that you have understood that it's actually very easy, and with a very low effort, you can be part of this movement as well. And as Ricky said, I will tell you that it's not about trading, it's not about speculating, it's not even really about investing, it's about long-term saving. And the longer you are in the market, the better. It's not about finding the dip or buying low, selling high. No, it's really easy. You just need to be in there for the long run. It's a long-term investing and savings technology. So everyone can do it. And I think everyone who is in Bitcoin for a long time already, I think there are some in the audience as well, you guys can approve of that. So let's kick it off. Who am I? As I already told you, Julian, I'm 30 years old. I know I look like 20, but I'm actually 30 already. Bitcoin keeps me young, which is good. I studied business administration, into Bitcoin since 2015. I founded 3 companies, but obviously the main company where my heart is beating for is Relay. Relay is growing. We have around 200K app downloads, 70K active users across all Europe, mainly in Germany, Switzerland, and Austria. And we are a team of 20 full-time employees. We actually have an extended team, which is the Relay Squad, and maybe some of you would be interested to... Oh, some of you are already here. Who's in the squad already? Okay, 2. I didn't expect more. But there are like 30, 40 people in the squad in total. We have the goal of being 100 plus. So this is kind of an extended team. If you want to apply for it, let Arson know. He's somewhere here. Or just Google for it. You'll find out how to do this. We believe that Bitcoin is the best way to save money, and everyone should have access to it. A lot of people still think that it's hard. I will tell you that it's actually not hard. You just need to understand 3 things. One is why Bitcoin? Why not all these other cryptocurrencies? Why not like other traditional assets? Why not fiat money? Why is Bitcoin the best store of value asset that there is? Well, if you look at traditional finance, how money works today is that central banks are just printing more and more of it. So every year, there is way more money than before. Just the last 2 years, 40%, so almost half of all the US dollars that are out there were printed. There are like, US dollar is around for 150, 200 years, and in the last 2 years, almost half of them were printed. So they're printing ever more. That means that one unit just has less value. And that's what we call inflation. If you look at different countries here on the map, some have inflation more than 100%. That means that actually you cut your savings, your wealth in half within a year. There's a nice rule of thumb where you can calculate how fast your money is losing value. It's called the 72 rule. So you can take the number 72 and divide it by the annual inflation rate, of your specific currency, and you get the number of years it takes for you to cut your wealth in half. I know it hurts to calculate that, but I think that's very important for us to understand the problem that we have with our current financial system. So let's do this exercise with Switzerland. Switzerland is great, right? Like, financial system works, the money in Switzerland, Swiss francs, everything is great, right? Okay, so, but still we have 3.5% inflation. If you divide 72 with 3.5%, you get to around about 20 years. In 20 years, your money is cut in half. So if you start saving for real estate, for a house, right now, you save 20 years, maybe you have, what, 200K, 300K, you want to make a down payment for your house. Well, this will not be enough in 20 years, because it's going to be, the house will be double as expensive, right? So it's, for Swiss people, young Swiss people now, if you're 20 years old or 30, and you want to start saving for a house, you're not going to make it, unless you save really hard with fiat money. It's even worse in Germany, for example. Germany has 8.7% inflation. 72 divided by 8.7, it's 8 years. So in less than a decade, you lose half of the value of your money that you have on the bank account. This is not fair, is it? And if you look at Turkey, for example, well, 72 divided by 72, someone knows? It's 1 year. Actually, it's 73. It's not even 1 year. Your savings are cut in half. That's uncool. So, what could be done about it? Most people ask, oh, I need to earn more money. I need to earn more fiat money. No, it's not the right way of thinking. The right way of thinking is we need to find a new system that actually works. And Bitcoin is, I think, on a mission to achieve that. And if you look, and this is not a graph that we designed, we make it look a bit nice, but actually this graph has been designed by Fidelity, one of the oldest financial institutions in the world, Fidelity. And they say, look, the 7 most important criteria to look at what is real money, what is good money. It needs to be scarce, it needs to be divisible, it needs to be portable, and so forth. If you look at all these criteria and you compare Bitcoin to gold and to fiat money, which are the most prevalent savings technologies today, or savings assets, then it actually turns out that Bitcoin is the best of all of them. The only thing that Bitcoin is lacking is an established history, because it's only it's like 15 years old, right? So it's not even 2 decades old. Where was the internet when it was not even 2 decades old? There was no, it was very, very early. That's the only problem we still have, is it needs a bit of time to establish itself. But from just a rational point of view, Bitcoin is the best store of value asset. It's the best money that we've ever invented as a human race. And last but not least, why Bitcoin? Is because we want to be independent of this system that is driven by central banks, that obviously does not work. A central bank is just printing more money every year. So 1 unit of currency is worth less every year. This cannot happen with Bitcoin, because it's an open source, decentralized protocol that cannot be tampered with by a small group of old people, like it is the case with central banks, right? So we know exactly it's disinflationary, and it's a clear schedule that says exactly how much new currency comes on the market, and it's less and less and less. So by the year of 2140, there will be no new Bitcoin issued, so it's really scarce. There will only ever be 21 million, and that's why on the long run, we cannot run into the same problems as we are with central banks. And by the way, we're still very early, so the longer you wait with getting started, well, the less favorable it will be for you. It's good to be early. So then maybe you ask yourself, okay, How do I get started? How do I get off zero? How can I do this very easily now? Because I know this is all not your thing that you think about day to day. So why DCA, dollar cost averaging, means what's dollar cost averaging? It means that you take the same amount of fiat money and put it into Bitcoin in the regular time frame, for example, every week or every month. So if you do that, then this is, I think, the best way to get into Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is rising long term. So fiat is stable in the short run, but it goes down in value in the long run. Bitcoin is volatile in the short run, but it goes up in value on the long run. Because it goes up, you want to accumulate. So you want to get more and more and more over time of Bitcoin. So if you look at this, Bitcoin performed 36,000% in the last 10 years, plus 70% on average per year. And we expect, because of the characteristics that we talked about before, because it's the best store of value that have ever existed, because it's scarce, so there's limited supply, but there's growing demand, especially from younger generations. We know, or we expect in the next 10 years, a 10x growth of that. So long term, it goes up. That's why it makes sense to start regular investments right now. Another reason is that Bitcoin is volatile in the short run. As I said before, this is what fiat and Bitcoin have not in common. So in the short run, it can be very volatile, especially for newcomers. This can scare people away. 4 times in the last 10 years, we had more than 50% drops. In the last 12 months, it went down 6%. And in the last, since the last all-time high, it went down 60%. That's something that scares people. So if you just invest like a big amount of money in lump sum in one moment, it can happen to you that 12 months later, you are down 6%. A couple of years later, you might be down 60%. That's why it's a long-term thing. That's why we do dollar cost average. And it is a winning strategy over time. The longer you do this, the better it gets. Because like if you look at the last couple of years here, in the last 10 years, if you had done dollar cost average, let's say $100 every week, you would have gotten a 2,000% return. So now you maybe remember the first slide. Okay, it's not 36,000. Okay, so if you take the risk and put everything in, and you wait 10 years, you might get a better return, but you get a safe return if you do it in dollar cost average. And on the shorter run, as we have seen before, in 12 months it was minus 6%. If you do dollar cost average, actually in 12 months it's plus 6%. So all of a sudden, because we did small amounts over a regular period of time, we have a profit. And since the last all-time high, actually you would have doubled your money. You would have plus 100%. Because if you dollar cost average, you take the same fiat amount. Whenever the price is higher, you buy less automatically. And whenever the price is low, you buy a bit more. So without you doing anything, if you automatize that, you just get the best average price. You don't need to time the market. The only thing you need to do is to let this system running for a long enough time frame. And so why is this a winning strategy? Why for the win? Bitcoin is the perfect match for this strategy. This strategy, by the way, works for all kinds of also traditional assets that are volatile and that tend to go up, like real estate, for example, or stocks that you believe will go up in the next 10 years. But Bitcoin is indeed the perfect match because it is still so early, because the upside is still, the potential of growth is still so big, and because it's short-term so volatile. So you can get these small dips without having to do it manually. You can just automate it. and it gives you peace of mind. You know that you are accumulating the best store of value asset. You don't need any other asset. You don't need to think about, should I buy real estate? Should I invest in stocks? Should I, put some of my money into bonds or whatever? You can just cut out all the noise, all the other assets, all the meme coins, all the altcoins, all the shit. You know that you are accumulating over time the best store of value, and you can sleep well because it's all automated if you use, for example, an app like Relay. And trust me, you will sleep better, and in 10 years you will look back and you will thank yourself now that you have started this. I'm doing it for 3 years, and it was the best financial decision in my life to start dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin. That was it from my side, guys. Thank you. And now we have 13 minutes to give away all this merch. So I have some caps, I have some shirts, and I have some bags, and I have some secret, very valuable things in here. But we'll start with this. The only thing I need you to do is to ask a question. Whenever you ask a question, you can choose something here. Yes, sir. Soon. So the question was when lightning? Very good. The question was when lightning? Very good question. We almost never hear that. We hear it every day. It also makes sense. We do want to integrate Lightning. We're thinking about Lightning for almost since the beginning. We're live on the market for 3 years now. We're thinking about it at least for 2 years. Reason is why we have not yet implemented it. It's very hard to implement it correctly. If we do it, we want to do it right, and we want to do it in a non-custodial way. If you want to do it non-custodial way with tens of thousands of users, you cannot open channels to them, manage the liquidity with them, host all of these nodes and stuff. So there's a lot of complexity that needs to be abstracted from the end user, which the technology in that regard is not there yet. We are getting very close, so we think that by end of this year, we can integrate with an external service provider, with a Lightning as a service provider, so that we can offer Lightning as well. So it's definitely going to come. When? Soon. What do you want? Hat, t-shirt? Hat. You got it. Almost, almost. Can you give it to this guy?
Hi. Is that hard technically to do DCA? Technically, is that hard to do?
DCA?
Yeah.
Whether it's hard to do technically?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. So you can download the Relay app. It takes you 1 minute. You don't have to get registered or anything. You can start from $10 already. And you can say, look, I want to invest, let's say, $50 a week. You, like 3 clicks. And then you set up a recurring order from your bank, $50 every week. You do this once, and then it's just going. Every week, you get your sats right into your mobile wallet. So Relay is also your non-custodial wallet. There's no counterparty risk. We don't hold your funds. You have control of your finances, of your Bitcoin. You can do whatever you want with it after that. You can also do it with credit card. It's even easier. So you just put in your credit card, you say how much you want to buy every week, and it's done. Peace of mind. It will not take you more than maybe 5 minutes max. It's super easy.
Thank you.
Sure, what do you want? T-shirt, hat, bag? T-shirt? What's your size? L? You got it.
Hello, I'm here.
Sorry, hey.
Yeah, in which other crypto token you would recommend to invest except Bitcoin?
Actually, I would not. I cannot make financial advice anyway. But
yeah, but still, you know, you've been talking about Bitcoin a lot, but
yes.
exist on the market, lots of them.
Yes, we only offer Bitcoin because we believe that there's a fundamental difference between Bitcoin and all these other 20,000 plus cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin is sound money. It's a digital store of wealth. It's digital gold.
Yeah.
Long-term savings technology. The rest is basically blockchain tech startups. They can be very interesting. Some of them will do well. A lot of them will go bust. Like with startups, it's always the case that 9 out of 10 go bust. And so this is high risk. This is more speculation. If you think about long-term savings, Bitcoin is really your choice. That's why we don't think that it makes sense to integrate any other coin.
Okay, but in your place, I would recommend actually not to use only Bitcoin, because anyway your personal wallet, it should be decentralized. I mean it should include lots of different tokens and coins, to my personal opinion. But okay, thank you.
Okay. Do you want some merch? You want what? I'm sorry, this is Bitcoin only. So I can show you what it is, but it's not for you because it's a Bitcoin only Bitbox that is Relay branded. There's no other coins on there, unfortunately. But now the surprise is out. So what's the next question?
Hey, thanks for the. Hey, I'm here.
Hey.
Hey, thanks for the presentation. Very nice. My question is there an optimal interval for DCA? Does your app provide analytics to see what would be the optimal, either weekly, daily, or monthly DCAing?
Very good question. Our app is not showing any analytics about that because we're focused on simplicity. So too much data, too much information would confuse a lot of newcomer users. But actually, there is a lot of research. You can Google after it. I think as a rule of thumb, the smaller the time period is, the better. So once a month is good on the very long time frame. But over a couple of years, it might be better to do it weekly. It might be slightly better even doing it daily, but then you get into another problem where you amass, that's a bit technical, you then amass too many UTXOs, and then whenever you want to send out the Bitcoin, it's going to be quite expensive. And also most banks, for example, don't offer daily recurring orders, so it's actually doesn't really make sense to set it up. Weekly is, in my opinion, the best way to do it. What do you want? The Bitbox? Okay. I'm not going to throw this. I'll leave it here. You got it.
Very often in discussions which I have with people who are not into Bitcoin yet, they argue that it's an environmental disaster. So I think Bitcoin has a reputation problem in this regard.
Yes.
How would you argue? Can you provide me some insights so that I can convince them in the future?
Yes, definitely. It's, I think, always good to show the people the relation of, okay, how much energy does it actually use? And then you can tell them that Bitcoin actually uses around 0.1% of the energy in the world. It's almost nothing. Bitcoin uses the same amount of energy as video gaming. It uses the same amount of energy like the global Christmas lighting in December. It uses much less energy than the banking system, the gold mining system, and the money printing. Way less. So why is it even a topic? And then you can even go one step further and tell them, look, yes, it does use a bit of energy, but it is mostly sustainable energy because the miners can go everywhere in the world where they want. They're not bound geographically, so they can go there where energy is available in surplus and would actually not even be used, it would be wasted. There we can capture this energy and monetize it into Bitcoin. And also 60 to 80% of the whole energy mix of Bitcoin mining is already now sustainable, and the trend is growing. So in 10 years, it will be plus 90% of sustainable energy. There's absolutely no problem. The only problem is that media has not understood this yet. What do you want? You got it.
Here. Thanks for the talk. I've seen that I use Relay, by the way, and I've seen you always put made in Switzerland. Is there an advantage of Switzerland compared to any other country?
Switzerland has a high regulatory certainty, and they're also very welcoming for Bitcoin and crypto startups. And also, the legal framework, the jurisdiction in Switzerland, allows us to onboard users non-custodially with no KYC process, without any registration, within 1 minute, up to 1K per day and 100K per year. So you don't need to even give us your name or show an ID or whatever. Super easy. That's only possible because we're based and licensed in Switzerland. But we can offer it to all European countries. So that's, I think, a big advantage of Bitcoin in general. We're in Zurich. Lugano, with the Plan B initiative, is also establishing itself as a hub for Bitcoin companies. So Switzerland is definitely a very good country to be in if you're a Bitcoin entrepreneur. What do you want? Hat? Try it again? Yes, sir. Sorry. There's one hat left, couple of shirts. Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
I would like to use your DCA service, but I'm looking for a feature that doesn't exist anywhere else. What I'm looking for is like having a rule saying like previous week I bought on that price. If it drops more than 5%, I want to invest more. If it goes up more than 5%, I would like to invest less. Something like vitamins for DCA. Do you have or are you planning for a feature like this?
So this would be possible if we can take money from you, right? And so therefore it would only be possible with credit card, which is a bit more expensive. So would you be willing to pay another 1.5 to 3% for that?
Maybe you could just take my transaction for a bit more.
We can
to
hold
plan
it.
ahead.
Yeah, that's a good point. It would be a kind of an advanced feature that we might introduce in the future. Right now, we're really focused on newcomers, and we optimize really on simplicity, making it as easy as possible.
Everybody's looking for DCA on steroids, you know.
Exactly. But it's also then a bit more risk and a bit more involvement. We just want to provide a very simple service for newcomers to do DCA, to have peace of mind, not having to think about anything. But I definitely took note. Thank you for the idea. What do you want? T-shirt? M, L? L? Okay, next question while I'm looking for this.
What is one thing that you like the most on your app?
That's a great question. I like most that it's really simple. There's not a lot of information in it, not a lot of data. You don't have to do almost anything, and it's Bitcoin only, and it's super user-friendly. So simplicity and user-friendliness I like the most.
Thank you.
Great question. How old are you?
16.
Wow.
15, sorry.
Great job of being here. You are educating yourself in the right time. What do you want? Do you want a T-shirt? You got it.
Hi, I would like to ask how do you approach the storage of Bitcoin that is held in your company that is not sent out to the users?
So we do never hold money on behalf of the user longer than 24 hours. So we get the euro or the fiat money of our users to our bank account. Our software directly trades it into Bitcoin, and we send it out to the user again. So basically, we never hold user funds. We do hold some of our own Bitcoin, and we secure them with a multi-sig hardware wallet setup, so that several people need to confirm a transaction.
Thank you.
What do you want? T-shirt? Hat? T-shirt? M? You got an M. Oh, sorry. I'm really bad in throwing.
Earlier you said that there is no KYC in the app. However, when I pay for the Bitcoin with my bank account, there is a connection between me and the Bitcoin. So I wanted to ask about what you do with this information, for how long you keep the information, and if there is a way that this can be used against me in some way.
Very good question. So this is called light KYC. Even though we don't require any KYC information, we do get it It's mostly the name and the address of the user. We need to also hold this for 10 years, even though we don't want it to it, but like it's a regulatory requirement. We hold it for 10 years. We don't have to give it. We don't give it away to anyone. The only exception is if a regulatory body comes and asks for it. If they have a suspicion that you're a criminal, we have to give it out. But that never happened so far, so it's very unlikely. Thank you.